I had breakfast with a friend of mine today, and we were talking about one of the businesses that he used to have. And he did a restaurant, and he had a retail, as well as he did weekend trade shows and things like that, where actually it was a restaurant, sold ice cream and some sandwiches. But he had the retail shop, and he was very good at what he did. He actually was an ex-tower. He got out of the business, out of the towing business, and he got into this ice cream business, had a retail shop, worked his tail off to get it to where it was. Had a nice store, got a good name for himself, but he was really struggling to make a lot of money. He was into it for 2 years. Long story short, he eventually had to close it down and get into something else. Now, he had a good product, but the retail side of the business killed him. As we talked about in one of my newsletters, knowing what equipment you should have to do what business you should have, identifying where your expenses are and where your revenue comes from, you have to know that so you can make the right business decisions to protect your interest. It was funny because the same guy, his son came to him recently and said, "I want to get back into the ice cream business too, Dad, just like you did." And his dad said, "Well, didn't we learn a lesson?" And he said, "Dad, I'm not going to do it like you. I'm not going to open a retail side. When we did those weekend gigs and we concentrated just on those certain things, we made a lot of money with very little overhead. The overhead came from the retail side itself." And as they looked at it, the father agreed with the son and said, "You know, you're right. I think I'll support you in what you want to do there. We had a great product. We have some good contacts in the business. Let's kick that around again and bring that back to life. We're just not going to do the retail side." Now, what I want you to do is tie that into your daily business. I just recently spent some time down in Austin, last week as a matter of fact, taking a look at our operation. The manager there is too close to see what's going on. You've heard the expression, you can't see the trees for the forest. Sometimes when you're on top of everything, you just can't figure out what's going on. I got to looking at it, and we were able to make some changes just in personnel alone. And we only got rid of one person, but we redesigned the functions of two others. It saved us $6,000 a month. In a small business, especially startup, which is what our Austin location is, major impact on what we were doing. So we were quite pleased with that. Take a look at what you're doing, and we'll talk more about this in the future.